Welcome back to the channel. In this video I want to talk to you about the fall of Ubisoft because I believe it's going to happen over the next few years if nothing drastic is changed. So this started off with an article that was shared on Discord about Tom Clancy's Elite Squad closing down. It's one of their most recent mobile games. It's been available for about a year and they're closing it down already. I believe that's possibly due to the risk of conflict between Elite Squad and XDefiant when that launches. And not only that, there was a lot of controversy and stuff around Elite Squad. I don't think it performed well as a game at all. But that's got me into looking at the latest earnings call or earnings report for Ubisoft. And it's for the first quarter of this year. What I'll do is I'll leave it linked in the description so you guys can take a look at it as well. But basically, their reports for the first quarter of the 2021 to 2022 sales, their Q1 performance is in line with their expectations, but only just. And their back catalogue is up double digits versus Q1 2019 to 2020. And that's where I believe they're going wrong. Because their net bookings were 326 million euros, which was slightly ahead of their target of around 320 million. So they're a little over their target, like a very, very little amount over their target. And what they've said is building quality and depth in their portfolio to the benefit of the players ultimately lead into significantly bigger audiences and recurring revenues. So number one, they want to expand their premium offering over the coming years, with ambitious plans for the biggest existing franchises, including promising content for Assassin's Creed over the coming months and years, including a powerful post-launch plan for Valhalla in Year 1 and Year 2. Far Cry 6 is to build on the franchise's great momentum. Rainbow Six Extraction is to broaden the Rainbow Six audience. Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope is to leverage the first Opus's success and massive Nintendo Switch installed base. They're also planning for the revival of fan-favourite franchise with Beyond Good and Evil 2. Then they have their new IP creation with a focus on long-term player engagement with Riders Republic and Skull and Bones. Then they have major entertainment brands to broaden their portfolio, so massive entertainment with Avatar Frontiers of Pandora and their upcoming Star Wars game. Then they want to expand their brands' universes and bring them to a significantly wider audience through free-to-play on consoles, PC and mobile, including The Division Heartland, The Division Mobile, Tom Clancy's XDefiant, and a to-be-announced mobile game for Q4 2021-2022. Then they wanted approval in China for 3 games, they got that. And then there is a little bit of talk between a few people, but Yves, who is the co-founder and CEO of Ubisoft, Yves said, "This quarter we continue to invest in our biggest brands and technologies with the goal of significantly expanding audience reach and recurrence. With record viewership, our recent Forward event offered an exciting glimpse of the extensive premium content our teams are creating for the coming months and years. At the same time, thanks to our free-to-play initiatives, we are expanding our brand's universes and bringing them to a significantly wider audience as illustrated by the reveal of Tom Clancy's XDefiant, or as a lot of people are calling it, Excrement. Over the course of the quarter, we also continue to implement important changes to our organisation in order to seize the industry's biggest opportunities." And then Yves concluded with, "The industry continues to offer bright prospects. With our high-quality brand, technology and exceptional teams, Ubisoft is ideally positioned over the coming years to deliver double-digit top-line growth as well as continued profitability progression leading to a material rise in operating income." So then they have the listings of the money they made year on year based on the first quarter. 2019 to 2020, they made 314.2 million euros. 2020 to 2021, the Q1, they made 410 million, and then this year, 2021 to 2022, in the first quarter, they made 326. So they are down from the previous year by a lot. And it says the first quarter of this year, net bookings totaled 326 million, slightly exceeding the target of around 320 million, and they're down 20.5%. And it says 17.4% at constant exchange rates on the 410 million figure for the first quarter of last year, and they're up 3.8%, which is 6.9% at constant exchange rates on the 314.2 million figure for the first quarter of the year before, being 2019 to 2020. The outlook is net bookings for the second quarter are expected to come in at around 340 million. And then the full year, the company confirms its targets for full year 2021 to 2022. Net bookings, single-digit growth, and non-IFRS operating income comprised between 420 and 500 million euros. Then they have recent significant events, and that just explains a lot about XDefiant. The game's approved in China, they've got support for their shareholders and stuff. And then right at the bottom, they have a breakdown of the net bookings by geographic region, and then also the breakdown of net bookings by platform. And I'll go through the percentages of 2020 to 2021 for each platform, and then I'll go through this year. So 2020, PS4 and PS5, 34% of their net bookings, Xbox One and Series X 19%, PC 21%, Switch 11%, mobile 12%, others 3%. So this year, compared to last, PlayStation is down 4%, Xbox has stayed the same, PC is up 3%, Nintendo Switch is down 3%, mobile is up 1%, and others has doubled to 6%. So Nintendo Switch has had the second worst drop of 3%, but that's down to 8% of their net bookings by platform. So Switch is not performing well at all, and they're releasing all the Mario and Rabbids stuff. So I think that's going to be a big hit on the company itself. PC's gone up, Xbox has stayed the same, PlayStation's down 4%. But then they have a title release schedule for the second quarter, which is between July and September. Packaged and digital, it's a China exclusive Rabbids Adventure Party for the Switch. Then digital only, Anno 1800 The High Life, Valhalla The Siege of Paris, For Honor Year 5 Season 3, Rocksmith Plus, Rainbow Six Siege Year 6 Season 3, and Watch Dogs Legion Bloodline, which is already available. I don't know if any of the previous stuff is available. So that's all of what's coming up for Ubisoft. But the thing is, they're happy with their Q1 performance. It's in line with their expectations. But releasing stuff like XDefiant, closing down Elite Squad, it's just going to create a massive jumble within the company, within the player base that's behind all the Ubisoft games and everything. And looking at this little chart, this shows in millions in euros for this year. Their IFRS 15 sales are 352.8, their net bookings are 326, digital 279.4, PRI 173.5, and back catalogue 306.8. And yeah, that might be in line with their expectations, but it's only just over, slightly ahead of the target. And comparing that to the reported change against 2019-2020, in terms of their net bookings and PRI back catalogue, they are all plus. Digital and the IFRS 15 sales are negative. But then, if you look at the money they've made in the first quarter of this year and compare it to just last year, every single booking type, net booking type, and the IFRS 15 sales, they are negative by a minimum of 12.5%, up to a maximum of 21.9% for back catalogue. So comparing to last year, they haven't made anywhere near as much money. But for whatever reason, they're saying that in line with their expectations, their performance is just there. So if they get any worse than they are right now, they're going to not reach their targets for each quarter. And that is only going to get worse with releases like XDefiant. I don't think Heartland's going to do too great. It will have players. I'm not going to say that the games are dead on arrival or anything like that. But they're not going to kind of go out there and exceed expectations in a big, big way. Just because XDefiant is simply the Division 2 and Breakpoint in a Call of Duty style game. That's all it is. There's nothing else to it. Heartland, we've seen leaked gameplay and everything. I won't be disclosing any of the gameplay, but in my opinion, it doesn't look fantastic. They are free to play, so they will attract an audience. That's pretty much a guarantee. Coming from Ubisoft, being part of the Tom Clancy branding, they're going to attract players. But the thing is, with every gaming company in this world, in order to make money, they have to release good products. If you look at PUBG on mobile, at one point that was bringing in $7 to $9 million per day. If you look at Fortnite, they made $1 billion. If you look at Apex Legends, that's now $1 billion game. And yeah, it might have taken 5 years or something, but they're making money. These games, if they are bad, are not going to make money. And with Ubisoft releasing a lot more free-to-play stuff, the players know, like some players know, that is going to be heavily focused on monetization. They're going to put in lots and lots of microtransactions in order to make their money, which, I mean, a company has to do from a business point of view. You have to do that to make the money back on what you spent on actually developing and creating the game. Even if you're just ripping assets and putting them into something else, you're still paying the wages and everything like that for your staff, and there's a lot more in terms of the costs and stuff behind creating a game. Some games have huge budgets, just like movies do. But they need to make a profit on this stuff, and with players becoming more aware of what these companies are doing in terms of being predatory with their microtransactions, and a lot of games being pay to win and all that sort of stuff, players are going to be less inclined to actually make purchases. Therefore, this free-to-play idea is not going to go down too well, especially when you're showing off things like XDefiant. That game should never have had a reveal trailer. It should never have been created. Like anything they've done so far with that game, they should never have started it, because it's the worst looking Ubisoft title I've seen in a long, long time. And they've had some absolute shockers. If you go back and you look at Immortals Fenyx Rising, that was a fantastic release. It had a really, really good reception. People absolutely loved it. And then you go and take a look at something like Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and that had a really, really bad launch. What Ubisoft need to do is drop the idea of free-to-play, because it's always half-assed, it's always focused on like microtransactions and stuff. They need to hope and pray that Far Cry 6 is actually polished, it works well, it's fun for the players, because that will make a lot of money. Rainbow Six Extraction has a very, very mixed sort of view at the moment, because it just seems as though, again, it's half-assed, it's using Rainbow Six, and I don't know, they're taking a long time to release it and it doesn't look amazing. Beyond Good and Evil 2, they need to show something for that game. Riders Republic, they need to stick to their release date. And obviously Rainbow Six Extraction got pushed back to January next year. And then Skull and Bones as well, they need to show something for that. They've shown something for Avatar, which is still like a year or two away from launch. Skull and Bones was supposed to be released a long time ago, and they still had nothing to show for it. So in my opinion, drop the free-to-play stuff. It's not going to be beneficial unless you create something that really, really appeals to a lot of players. But you can't make it pay to win, because that's going to annoy people at the same time. XDefiant, I don't think is going to perform well at all. But I think the premium stuff needs to continue. The games that cost £60, £70, but they need to be a good, fun game to play. That's all they have to do. Any company makes a game that's good fun, they're gonna make money. Look at Fall Guys. It was like Total Wipeout or whatever it's called, and Takeshi's Castle. It's just like an obstacle course, and there were lots of people in the lobbies. People, like, they might have dropped off or whatever, but it still had that initial fun factor. With Among Us, YouTubers started playing it, everyone started picking up on it, and people absolutely loved it. The arguments and stuff created, because you had to either pretend you're a crewmate or you're an imposter, and it just created fun within the gaming community. So that is all they need to do, and XDefiant I really don't think is going to do that for them. Heartland, I don't think is going to do it. The Division Mobile, depending on what they do with that and how it's monetized, it might happen, you don't know. Like, I mean, obviously with Heartland, XDefiant and everything I mentioned, I don't know for certain, but this is just coming from one gamer's opinion, and I believe they need to make change within the company if they want to keep reaching their targets and exceeding their targets. Because at the end of the day, whether we like Ubisoft or not, they're a company, they have employees, they're humans, they're just working. But in order to improve on the company, I think they need to make change. And I think they need to stop with the free-to-play stuff, because ever since they said we're going to be focusing more on free-to-play than premium, they've started showing a lot of free-to-play stuff really, really quick. But that's going to be it from me for the video. Remember, all of this stuff can be found in the description. It's a public earnings report, so anyone can take a look at it. You've just got to click the link. And we're going to leave the video there. So let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed it.